Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Bandel, and I am the last Rosicrucian. I haven't done a Gaia Ascension update for a while, and today's the 19th of December. We're getting very close to the winter solstice, which is actually an important time. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to offer some thoughts uh, for my own personal soul group. One of the things that is I want to make clear, both in this video and going forward, is that I'm not trying to reach anybody I can. Okay? Um, there's my soul group, people who are like me, or they resonate to what I'm saying. And what I have to share is for them. It's not for everybody else. So, pay attention to whether you find my words and what I'm sharing, whether you push them away, or whether you feel drawn to them. That's all. That's all I'm asking, is just kind of pay attention to that, because unlike so many people out there that channel entities, things like that, I don't channel anybody. I don't channel entities, but I do channel a lot of energy. And I'm active on all the levels, on the various levels. And I'm reaching a point where you could say the alchemical process has come to that point that in the past has been called the multiplication of the Philosopher's Stone. What that means is simply that, hey, the transformations are not necessarily, there's a process with alchemy. First, there's a healing process and you change inside. Then you start to interact and change your environment. The third and final process is when you're actually starting to be an influencer of certain types of people. Not everybody, and I'm not trying to be, but I am trying to say that, hey, I am an influencer to people in my soul group, and I'm going to speak through personal experience. And I believe that my personal experience can be replicated. Other people can have the same type of experiences that I do. Now, I've got a few topics to just touch upon. The first one, I've been doing a daily meditation that is actually, I really like it. It's called the Etheric World of the Dead meditation, and what it's doing is it activates all the chakra centers, it unites them, and creates a portal meditation that's actually has a group participating in. And I'd like to think that that's a soul group, my soul group. And every day, a large part of what I'm trying to do is just kind of connect with that group of people. And as we're doing that, as that group of people is going through this meditation with me, even though it's wherever they are in the world, there's been a change happening. And I want to tell you about that change, because this is, I think, pretty significant. During the meditation, we bring in the light, we bring in the spiritual light. And for the first time, what's happening in this meditation is that I'm actively trying to reach out far beyond this new cycle that we're in, going into the future, going further, 2, maybe 3 great cycles further, to tap into that continuation of life on Earth. In other words, what I'm trying to tapping into that source energy, is actually that vital life force that continues, that won't let life die out on this planet, so that we can find a way, so that we, or life, can find a way. So that's an important change that has happened in the process of this daily meditation that I do. And what's happening is it has gone through some stages, and the stages that it's at right now reminds me very much of the process of, like, when a sperm enters an ovum and the fertilization process begins. So I'm going to kind of give a description or an illustration. As I'm in the meditation and I draw in that light, we draw in that light and we connect with everybody in the group is connecting, and we bring that light down to Gaia's core, to Gaia's center. Before, the meditation was different, and now it seems like I'm looking at the Earth out in space, and this light is coming down and it's entering it just like a sperm enters the ovum. And what happens is it takes a hit, or it takes a certain amount of light, and then it just kind of starts moving. It starts growing. In other words, it takes hold. And it's taking hold in a very vital life force way. And what is happening in these daily meditations now, and has never happened before, is that the life, the organic life on Earth, is getting a big shot in the arm. It's getting a big push. And that vital life force that we're talking about is taking in all of life, all of the Earth. It's not taking in humanity and leaving everything else. So it's finding that balance between all the species and all the living things, and it's finding that balance that has been disturbed, and that balance that needs to be replaced or newly created. And what's happening is it is growing and expanding like yeast in dough, if you will. And all this life, cellular life, the other species, is taking advantage of it. It is pure root chakra energy that's stimulating this growth. And what's happening is I see human influence as chains or bands of restriction that are that they're getting stressed more and more and more because they can't expand with what's happening in the Earth. So we're talking about the meditation is showing me that nature and the things that are going on in nature are going to wreck. They're going to burst the bonds that humanity has placed upon it. In other words, society, civilization as we know it, it is reaching a bursting point. It's reaching a spot where it's got to break down. That's what I'm seeing in my meditation. That's what I'm seeing daily, and that's what's going to be happening. That's the main point that I'm getting here is that humanity, in the sense that humanity is not in harmony with the growing, with the life force that's now apparent, that's now infused in Gaia, there's going to be problems. It's the things are going to start snapping. That's what I sense happening for the coming year. 24 seems to be not a pretty time for a lot of what we would call civilization, the political rules and regulations type of thing. And that it really is looking like nature versus humanity. There's going to be some problems. That's why I believe it is so important that each one of us taps in to the root chakra energies, taps into nature, and learns how to be in harmony with nature. Because if we all were grounded and in harmony with nature and not living in our heads, we'd have a lot better chance getting through these challenging times that are coming along. Now, I'm going to change to the next subject. It's kind of similar. It's tied in with it because there's all this confusion. I'm looking at things out there and it's like, what do you believe? Who do you believe anymore? Whether it's the news or whether it's spirituality or whether it's New Age channeling or whether it's this or that or whatever. Bottom line is, as far as I'm concerned, you can't believe anything. Except you can believe what's coming from inside yourself. And that brings up a point because there's so many people that have systems, belief systems, whether it's science or metaphysics or occultism or religion or whatever, and they're all going to argue their point of view. I'm not here to try to influence anybody in that way. In fact, like I said, the only people I'm trying to influence are members of my soul group that may respond favorably to what I'm saying. And I'll use this as a metaphor, even though, well, it's just handy as a metaphor. It's the idea of reality as a hologram. And what's valuable about that imagery is what it means is that if that was true, each one of us has a miniature of the universe inside us. As above, so below. As below, so above. And that is useful because what that means is there's a pattern of the universe inside each one of us, and that pattern is a little bit different for each one of us, even though there is the existence of a large collective pattern. And so it can be a savage, uncivilized, uneducated savage someplace in the world, or it can be a nuclear physicist or something like that. They're coming from a different point of view, but each one of them has a hologram of the big picture. And it's symbolic in a way that they can understand. That interpretation is unique to each person. So you don't need to be a clone of the other person, but each one of you can strengthen your inner hologram, that inner image. And as you strengthen that inner image, that inner hologram, it remains true to the larger. And as you strengthen it, it influences the outer. It's so easy for people to say, well, the collective is what determines everything. That's not true. Individuals who have strongly defined, strongly worked with their inner hologram, no matter what system they use, have the ability to influence that larger one. That means this uneducated primitive, someplace in the world, or even animals that are struggling to stay alive. They have that hologram inside of them, and they can strengthen it, their personal hologram, and strengthening that, they see more truly, they see more deeply, and resonate more effectively with the large piece. That's all I'm saying, is it's time, if you want to create a world that you want to live in, you strengthen that inner hologram. And that means strengthening that inner hologram from the highest level of the spiritual photon, the photon level, spirituality, to the womb of creation, to the deepest earth level, the core of the earth, the actual last final element possible, which we call the womb of creation. So what I'm talking about is basically self-empowerment. It's not being like everybody else, but it's having your vibrational level like everybody else. I see that the sun's coming out. You're going to lose my face. That's unfortunate, or maybe not unfortunate. But here's a point. There's so many people that are out there politically correct, and they're saying, you got to think like I do. You got to think like I do. Or we got to think all the same, because that's how computers work. They use the same program. And it is the exact opposite. What happens is each individual chakra center is a specific kind of energy. And what you need to do is harmonize that energy. So your third eye chakra, example, that frequency should be able to link up with other people at that frequency. And it doesn't matter if they think the same, because if they link up, it means they can communicate back and forth. Or whether it's at the throat chakra level or the heart chakra level, they can communicate back and forth. And I can tell you this from my personal experience as I have gone through life. One of the things that I've been guilty of, I suppose, is overshooting the mark. I've tried too hard. And instead of going forward and landing in a soft spot where I should be, I've overshot the mark. I've tried too hard and I've gone a little further, landing in the rocks quite a few times. But, I mean, progress is progress, right? And sometimes you just do what you can. And I've been blessed because I've been able to almost spend my entire life on this journey of learning these things and doing these things. And I'll give an example. Meditations. There's some of these meditations and they have the certain hemisync or what some of these others, they're like, okay, here's a meditation. It's a specific frequency. And you listen to that and you're going to go into an altered state. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't work, but I'm saying that's wrong. Because the only way that meditation works is if you adjust to that frequency that's arbitrary. In the process of my own life of overshooting things, I've constantly found myself in a space where I had to tune, like a radio station, I had to tune my own frequency into one that matches everybody else. So what we're talking about is adaptability. Shoot for the ability to change your frequency and adjust it to where it works. If you're rigid, it's going to run into problems down the road. Another thing is that total resonance, which means each chakra center being energetically linked, phase locked with the other ones, so that you can use the energy from one chakra center to inform or to empower another level. In other words, it's just a basic integrating of the soul. Instead of, oh, I'm just going to focus on this chakra center, I'm just going to focus on that chakra center. As a final note, as we're talking about chakra centers, when I'm doing this daily meditation, I distinctly can feel, especially some chakra centers, extremely strongly. One of them is the crown chakra center right above my head, and it almost feels like a knot in my head or like a tightness of the muscle or something like that, that it's actually happening. The same with when I go with the third eye, I'm actually feeling actual physical pressure that's not faint. It's really significant. The other ones that's significant, I can say the heart center. It really opens powerful. The throat center, I'm still working on that. The solar plexus, which is most powerful for a lot of people, which is the lower emotional center. It's not a powerhouse for me, but I'm still trying it. But you get the sacral center and the root chakra center. Those are all working very powerful for me, and there's very physical sensations, energetic stirrings that are very strong that I feel for those things. And that energy center where my feet touch the ground. So I'm saying, whatever I'm doing, I can feel these energy centers being activated And I'm just trying to share through the meditations that I share. I'm trying to share how to do that. I'm not trying to share a belief system or anything like that. Okay. Uh, let's see, what else do we have here? See, I wrote some notes on a little piece of paper. I'm just trying to follow along here. Uh, but I'm going to start shutting it down. AI. I'm going to leave this message with the idea of AI. From what I gather, AI is, how do I say this? Well, for one thing, it shouldn't be an enemy because we are biological computers. I believe that we are biological computers. I believe that we are more advanced than the AI that exists today because we've had billions of years of learning how to do things. And I think that uh, there's some real limitations in which AI is not as adaptable or as survivable as humanity is. Because humanity's tough. We had to be tough to get where we're at. Uh, the thing is, okay, if our sun micronovas, as some people suggest, AI is going to be taken out. A lot of us are going to be taken out, but there's a lot of us that are not going to be taken out. That's the difference. So you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. Now, the path I follow is, or I call it organic Gnosticism. I believe that integrates with AI, that it integrates with the science and technology that's trying to be put in place in our world today. And I believe that we can use that technology, but we cannot depend upon that technology. That there is a real danger here. There's too many people trying to say, hey, wait a minute, this is an area that can be dangerous to society, to civilization, if it gets away from us. And ultimately, it's going to be one of the things that wipes out a large portion of our civilization. In one way or another, it's going to be responsible for it. I routinely use AI in translating German to English literature. I have started to use AI in generating art for book covers, which is kind of neat. And I recognize that, hey, we can really be it's helping me. It's a tool to be used. The thing is, if I come to a point where I say, okay, if there's a book that I want, is it best to have a physical book on my bookshelf? Or should I have it in the computer someplace? And I'm still going to say if it's really important, I better have a physical copy of it. Just in case the internet goes down. Just in case my computer's been taken out. If it's something that's really important. And we are getting close enough, we're getting enough information now where we should be thinking about communities that are self-sustaining. We can use the technology available today to create self-sustaining communities. That's, I think, one of the most important messages that I have. Live in harmony with nature in sustainable communities, self-sustaining communities, one way or another. Everything else is going to be stressed to the breaking point, one way or another. And I'm just saying that from the point of view of this is my vision. This is what I see in my meditations every day. That this is now here. Gaia, the root chakra energies, the vital life force energies are taking over. Those are survival energies. And all of life is hooking on. They're jumping on the bandwagon there. In my vision, I just see the entire earth blossoming with life. And I see humanity trying to live in their heads, trying to repress it. And there's a battle going on. And humanity can't win that battle. And I'll tell you right now, I'm cheering for Gaia. So with that, I think that says pretty much what I wanted to about my solstice message. Talk to you later.